For over 27 years here in Tuscaloosa, Catfish Heaven has been pleasing our taste buds with their delicious catfish, pan trout, hot wings, coleslaw, hush puppies, and don't forget about those made-to-order French fries. Whether it's your snack time, lunchtime, or dinner time, give the guys a call over at Catfish Heaven at 205-752-7222, or you can make your order online at catfishheaventuscaloosa.com. So head on over to Catfish Heaven at 2502 21st Street. See you there.
Head on down to Archibald and Woodrow, some of the best barbecue in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, y'all. Right off of 4125 Greensboro Avenue, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35405. You can hit them up at 205-331-4858. Also, you can find them at their other location, 1211 Martin Luther King Boulevard, Northport, Alabama 35476, 205-345-6861.
Tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama. Tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama.
Hi, welcome to another episode of the all-new Ttown 411 Report. We're live here at McKinstry Banquet Hall, located at 5480 Jug Factory Road here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And we're also live on Sound Booth Radio with Mike Wilson. Mike, tell them how could they sound in on Sound Booth Radio and Sound Booth TV.
Sure thing, Daryl. Get in with us on Sound Booth Radio and Sound Booth TV. All you got to do is go to your iOS or your Google Play Store, download the Live 365 app, and once you've done that, then you type in Sound Booth Radio 106.1. That'll get you on with Sound Booth Radio 106.1. And Sound Booth TV is right here on Facebook Live, so you can just go type in Sound Booth TV, and you can watch this show as well as all the other shows that we broadcast throughout the week. We also have Sound Booth TV on YouTube, so just go to YouTube and check out Sound Booth TV.
Well, we want to thank everybody for chiming in each and every week here on Sound Booth Radio's Ttown 411 Report and Sound Booth TV and all the other stations that we have connected with this program. Great opportunity to share a lot of good information, and I just want to thank everybody for chiming in. I also want to thank our very own producer, Mr. Carmelo Hare, for doing this job, and he's doing a wonderful job for us. We got our COVID-19 update coming in from DCA Systems. 8 inpatients with DCA System are positive for COVID-19. 6 inpatients are positive for COVID-19 being treated in ICU. 5 or fewer patients are positive for COVID-19 on ventilators, and 5 or fewer who are positive for COVID-19 on BiPAP. She sent a special message saying the public demand for COVID-19 vaccines at DCA's remote site has continued to decrease. Because of this, the last day, individual will be able to schedule a first vaccine is tomorrow, Friday, July the 16th. The final day vaccines will be administered at the site is Friday, August the 6th. So since now we talked about COVID, about this new Delta variant that's coming out. Before I do that, let me just say a quick prayer for those that are on the ventilators and in the hospital right now. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to share information. Heavenly Father, we ask that you go out with the bereavement families, go into the hospitals and use your healing hand. Heavenly Father, we ask that you touch the nurses, the doctors, and all the essential workers that are working through our facilities throughout this world. Heavenly Father, protect our police, our firemen. Look out for our government. I'm saying a special prayer for our families right now. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray, amen.
Amen.
Mike, we talked about on Tuesday this new variant that is out, and from my understanding, other states as of right now are requiring people to start back wearing a mask inside in public places.
Yeah, and because Daryl, the way I actually heard that there's actually another variant outside of the Delta variant. The Delta variant is the one that's taken over, but they have another one I think called the Lambda variant or the L variant. That's even more contagious than the Delta, and it actually is being said to like maybe give the vaccine a problem. It has more of the proteins in it to help it connect to respiratory tissues and actually get you sick,
Mm-hmm.
from what I understand. Um, and I heard that from Dr. Collier one morning on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. So uh, now they haven't talked much about that because there's not that many folks that has it. It's originating out of Peru. But the Delta variant is doing its own thing, and it's actually having a bunch of kids in the hospital right now. I think the youngest child on the respirator right now is under 1 years old. So uh, we got to, we got to. I was out and about today, and uh, when I get out the car, I had my wife and myself had our mask on, but like we was in the minority.
Mm. Well,
Mhm.
it's definitely coming. It's definitely making its way back. I'm hearing more and more people saying they having different symptoms of COVID, I guess you could say, and people are starting back to go to the doctors and hospitals, and they're starting to turn them back around and say, quarantine yourself for 10 days, 10 to 14 days. But our conversation tonight is related, I guess you could say, to the pandemic. We're talking about the where has the workforce gone? Um, Mike, I posted earlier today about jobs. There's jobs out here. I drive up to a restaurant. They got signs saying text XYZ for an interview. You're talking about several of the fast food restaurants, but it's not only affecting the fast food restaurants, it's also affecting the hospitality uh, workforce. Also, your hotels, your cruise line probably going to be affected. Your entertainment industry going to be affected. Where are the where? Why? Well, let's start with this. Why do you think this is happening right now?
I think that when the federal government was given the incentive in money, um, the stimulus money, I'm sorry, when they were doing a whole lot of unemployment,
Mm-hmm.
it was actually throwing people in a point where they were making more money on unemployment than they were at their jobs prior to now. So they were actually stockpiling. They was getting this a week.
Mm-hmm.
So we talking about $800 a week. A lot of these people were getting it, and I think they were stockpiling some of this money. And then, of course, every time you look around, they're getting more and more tax benefits. Or most people got the EBTs, so that was uh, money for food and stuff like that. The EBT card. So they got a lot of government money that was coming in, surplus government money coming in right now. I just I kind of think that might be the main entire reason why some people are sitting back and they don't want to go to fast food restaurant because now they're like, well, I don't want to work for that little money.
Well, we made such a large. It was a big thing about minimum wage going up. They had the big thing about the 1010. You had people complaining that they weren't being paid enough, even at fast food restaurants. So now you had between $10 and $15 an hour starting out pay for fast food. I mean, I'm not just talking about fast food. I'm talking major restaurants and hotel 5 stars. I mean, this is not just affecting them. It's a you from my understanding, there were over 2 million women taken out of the workforce in the last 2 years. 2 million women taken out of the workforce. And with that being done, um, you know, and there are different reasons. I guess you can say child care or being able to, you have to stay at home with your parents or stay at home with your mom or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 million women taken out the workforce. That's a lot of people. And where do we see most women working at when it comes down to um, your hospitality? Who normally is your housekeeper, or who is usually your person that's serving your drinks in the hotel, or who is the people that normally take care of the guests? It's normally your female. Your when you're checking in at a hotel, most of the time it's a female. Your waiters and waitresses, most of the time it's a female. Not only that, even at the school, we losing teachers and nurses and a whole lot of other positions and professions that women are being taken out of.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I mean, do you see it being the pay being the big issue, or is people just really relying on the income of the unemployment, of the $300 unemployment, and the extra assistance through whatever the government has to offer?
Personally, I feel like it has a little bit to do with what the government is offering. A lot of people, if they were offered early retirement, they took the early retirement. Um, those people, if they was in the range of retirement, they retired because they didn't want to be out in it. So that was a huge thing also, as far as the workforce. If they were able to retire, they went on here and retired where they probably weren't looking to do it prior to the pandemic. But when you start giving just money, really and truly unemployment money, uh, I think that we got kind of used to it. Well, a lot of people got kind of used to it. And once everything goes back to normal, and they've used up, because everything was supposed to stop in September anyway. But Alabama, I think, stopped in June. What was it, June? I think they stopped in June.
Mm-hmm.
So, they stopped probably a little bit of money. People probably was pretty good at saving some money. I think before long they'll be trying to run and get those. They'll be trying to run and get those jobs now, but it's unfortunate that they're waiting until they get into dire straits to have to go and get a job, especially when they're out there. Like not just fast food restaurant jobs, not just restaurant jobs. We got like you said, hospitality jobs. We got jobs at the hospitals, doctors' offices, jobs at these factories. Right now, there's hiring. I would dare say even the post office is hiring. I'm not exactly sure about that, but places like that are hiring. Uh, why would you not try to go and get one of those jobs now to be established in the job and not have to wait for a rush? I'm not understanding it myself.
Veronica brought up an interesting question. She said, I don't think most reasonable people are just relying on extra assistance because they know that it's not forever. What did some of these companies truly do with the money the government allocated to them to help employee retention? Of course, they stockpile. I would say they stockpiled it for themselves, if you ask me. Uh,
Oh, definitely, definitely.
what we'll do, we'll go ahead and take a commercial break right quick. Let Marlo run a couple commercials, and then we'll take phone calls and let people call in and tell us what they think people are doing with the money or why they're not going back to work.
Hello? Hey, Rick. I had to call you to tell you that the food that you brought to the party last night was wonderful. It made me think about my grandmother's cooking. Where did you get that food, brother? I went down to Thomas Rib Shack to pick up the ribs, but when I got there, I seen that they had more than just ribs. I seen baked chicken, fried chicken, corn muffins, vegetables, apple pie, peach pie, and I looked around and I seen a sign that told me that they got chitlins and oxtails on Sunday. Oh. All I can tell you, go down to 2931 15th Street or just give them a call like I did at area code 205-759-5010. Thomas Red Shack, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Fly, fly, fly. Gucci, huh? I drink till I'm drunk.
Fellas, head on down to New Generation Barber Shop, right off of 2600 McFarland Boulevard East, Suite C. Go ahead and get you a fly cut from my boy Fred Brown. You can hit him up at 205-292-4995. Also Sam Brown at 205-722-8506. And how can I forget about my boy Amp the Barber? Hit him up at 205-561-7473. Check him out, y'all.
Pick, I might as well hell. Drop the top and take a selfie, my country.
You shopping at a goddamn number 2 pencil.
What up, y'all? Comedian Funny Man, and this is nice, right? This pretty nice. That's pretty nice. But you know what's even nicer? A comedy show in Tuscaloosa, July 30th at McKinstry Banquet Hall. I'm coming through with my homies, man. TK Perry, Lamar Pullum, Tony Ttown. Hey, we back outside. We back outside coming to Tuscaloosa for a comedy show, post-pandemic comedy show. It's going to be funny. Go ahead and get your tickets. It's going to be live. It's going to be the place to be. And why not do it in Tuscaloosa? As y'all can see, I am in Alberta City right now. I'm in Alberta City right now. So I'm going to make that short drive over to McKinstry Banquet Hall, July 30th. Get your tickets. Post-pandemic comedy show. Your boy Funny Man will be there. And it's going to be rocking. Love me some Tuscaloosa. Love Alberta. I'll see y'all there July 30th.
District 7 has now come to a crossroad. We have to have a leader that we can trust. My work isn't done.
Sonia has proven herself. Everything I've asked her to do within the last 8 years, she's done. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. That's why I'm supporting her.
We need someone who can continue helping the city of Tuscaloosa and this district to grow. Sonia is the person to do that for us. She is professional, she holds people accountable, and she is trustworthy.
I am for Sonia. I know the direction we're going. I know the funding opportunities that are there. We need to have continued leadership that knows where they're going, and I can take you in the right direction. To start over with inexperienced leadership pushes our district back. We don't deserve that. We have sidewalk projects. We have LED lighting upgrades. We have drainage projects that are out there waiting to be funded. This is not a game. I need to get back to work. So on July 27th, I have a plan, and there are things on the table that are there waiting for me to continue to advocate for you.
Tuscaloosa, get ready for the Ttown Labor Day Blues and Groove Festival. Saturday, September 4th at SoCo Park, featuring TK Soul, Abel Hollywood,
Is you 25 and
Magic One, Jay Hammer, Miss Jody, Donnie Ray, and the J. Morris Group. Gates open at noon. Showtime 2 p.m. It's all hosted by MC Sir Anthony. Bring your tents, coolers, lawn chairs, and RVs. Vendors are welcome. Kick off your Labor Day weekend at the Blues and Groove Festival, starring TK Soul, Lavelle Hollywood, Magic One, Jay Hammer, Miss Jody, Donnie Ray, and the J. Morris Group. Saturday, September 4th at SoCo Park in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. For tickets and vendor info, call 205-872-2113.
Okay, we're back. Ttown 411 report, and we were talking about why the job, why is the job force still the nation? So, my opinion has always been that there was a lot of assistance that was given. People are holding on to it. The companies that were giving assistance to retain their employees were holding on to money. Instead of giving them like bonuses for staying, like, and truthfully, a lot of people did wind up leaving jobs. And they felt like they were in dangerous situations, which they were. In dangerous situations, going to work every single day and not getting any type of hazard pays or anything to that aspect. So would that have been some of the reasons why we do not have, why we don't have workers right now? I think that might be the case. We're just wondering what y'all think. So y'all can give us a call, 866-761 or 205-310-6067. Let us know what you're thinking. And let me know what you think. Dave Van Horn was saying, well, hey, Dave Van Horn, how you doing? You got Veronica Taylor also on the line. Yeah, if y'all got any comment based upon what we were talking about today, please go ahead on hit us up. Any comments at all pertaining to the job force. Now, part of that also has to do with young people not having a work ethic, I think.
That's a good statement. Sorry, I do something for a second. That's a good statement. But here's what I see. Here's what I see the future of this problem is Social Security. If we're not paying into Social Security or have anyone to pay into Social Security, 20 years down the line, there's going to be an effect. It's going to have some effect on some people. So, in other words, you got to work to get Social Security, and if you're not getting Social Security benefits in the near future, what do you do? Give us a call. You can call us at 310-6067 or 826-7661. That'll get you in contact with us. Let's hear your comments in relating to where is the workforce? Where is everybody? Where is people going? How is people surviving now?
But Daryl, I also got from a couple of people that they were talking about some of these restaurants that are posting up that they're hiring for $15 an hour or $12 an hour. That they'll hire you on for that much, but they don't give you any hours. Like they might have you work 4 hours 3 times a week.
I don't think that's an issue right now. That must be somebody that must try to be getting rid of, because I'm hearing people saying they can't even open up the lobby of the restaurants due to the fact that they don't have enough employees to cater to the drive-through and the lobby at the same time. So that's
I've been seeing that also, but it is well, I've had a couple people tell me that particular thing. I don't know how true that might be. It might be the fact that you might come in there and not want to work, and so the next thing they're doing is they gonna shorten the hours. That very well might be the case, but if it is the case that they're just trying to get a bunch of folks in there, why is a lobby still closed right now?
Because there's not enough employees. When I tell you, listen, I drive to, I eat lunch at fast food most of the time, and when you see you can't even operate a double lane drive-through system because you don't have enough employees to carry out the orders and taking the orders and executing what you want. That's a problem. And I ain't talking about, of course, some of them have some of the worst service in town anyway, but there's some good play. Now, we talked about this the other day. Why is it that people don't mind working for Chick-fil-A compared to some of the other restaurants? But I'm just speaking on my behalf as I see this daily. The lobbies cannot open because they cannot get enough employees to come to work. And it's mostly, and don't get me wrong, our restaurants that we like to go and just sit down and eat, as some of the African American soul food restaurants, everything is to go because they don't have the staff to make sure there's enough employees to carry out the service that they want. So it's much simpler to say, hey, fix it to go and send them on. Bishop Carlos Humphrey say they live in our PPP. You got a valid point right there. Some of them anyway, but PPP don't last. If you never had $20,000, $40,000, $60,000 at one time and utilizing it like you should or can, it don't last long. It don't last long. If you're not making that money work for you, and you out buying new bedroom sets and cars and other non-essential items, it don't last long. It just don't last long.
And that's the point that I'm trying to make, Daryl. I feel like they got all this assistance, all this lump sum. It's a lump sum of money, and it happens every year during tax time. People tend to try to trail off from working. It's what we call hood rich. You start going out buying putting, buying cars and, like you said, buying all kind of electronic TVs and stereos and computers, iPads, phones, whatever, because you got a lump sum of money, and probably 3 months after the fact, you back at the same spot you was at. When, if you had to kind of put that back and use it like you've been using money the whole entire year, it would have lasted for a little while. That's what I'm thinking that a lot of people have, and perhaps maybe Bishop Humphrey is right that a lot of people went and got PPP loans. They're living off that big lump sum right now, and they're gonna wind up trying to go back into the workforce all at the same time when most of their money has run out.
Well, once again, give us a call, 205-826-7661 or 310-6067. Let's hear your opinion. Why is there a depletion of people in the workforce? I mean, this not only affecting, it's
I think restaurants closed down actually because we don't have enough people.
Staffing companies are having.
Moe's on 69 has just closed down because it didn't have enough people
Who that?
to run that restaurant.
Who was it?
Moe's on Highway 69 South.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, they closed because they didn't have enough people to run that store, and it cost them more money to keep it open without people, paying the rent and everything. So they just decided to close it on down. I can't. Well, Tokyo, Japanese steakhouse, they haven't opened that up because he don't have enough wait staff. Actually, he don't have any wait staff. He said he has nobody to wait on the customers. He have a few cooks, but he has nobody to wait on the customers. So those are just two restaurants I know of that basically shut the doors because they don't have the workers to maintain business.
Well, it's not only affecting them. I mean, you can't get enough. The state of Alabama can't get enough correctional officers. Police departments can't get enough police officers. So this pandemic is affecting the whole entire nation, not just Tuscaloosa, but the whole entire nation for the workforce.
And I actually saw on the news, I want to say it was on Monday, there's a county in here in Alabama that's actually, and I think it's for fire safety, they don't have enough people for their volunteer fire department. They're actually going into the schools now, and I'm talking about high schools. They actually are providing a course in high school. I think it starts at sophomore and going on up. And it gives you credit toward Alabama Fire College.
Mm-hmm.
So when you graduate from high school, I think you'll have so many credits toward the Alabama Fire College, and they're hoping that those people that do that will stick around in that particular county and work in their fire department, but they will actually be able to go anywhere in the state of Alabama. So what can we do to get the folks to go to work? I thought that was a very good idea.
Well,
as far as tapping into the youth resources.
Well, the thing about youth is accountability. I think a lot of companies are seeing that they're not showing up consistently, or they find that the labor is too hard for them. It just a whole lot of factors that plays into this. whole lot of factors. Once again, call us 310-6067 or 826-7661. Get you in contact with us. Let's hear your version. Veronica and Daniel Van Horn comment. Daniel said there's much more to employment issues than people not wanting to work. Veronica said now Ivy wants to build more prisons with pandemic money. It should build more prisons, but who's going to work it? That's the problem. That's one of the problems now. I'm hearing people saying you might have 100 men and only 5 workers on a pod.
Yeah, I think Daniel was saying something to that aspect at one time that how badly I know what those POs were, or COs, I should say, and you know, now you're starting to put people in danger. And once again, I think that the fact that during the pandemic, some of these places were supposed to be handing out hazardous pay, and they didn't hand out hazardous pay. Might have been the cause of a lot of people that they just walked away from the job. They started saying that, hey, you know what, you don't care nothing for me, but you want me to come in here for you. I'm not going to do it. I don't know how true that is, but I would suspect that was a lot of. I know that was the case for a lot of people that work in the hospital. I would imagine it would probably be a lot of people that work. Well, not necessarily the hospital so much as the retirement villages, the retirement homes, and everything, or anything in the medical field where they had to deal with patients and they weren't getting any kind of hazardous pay. They were getting plenty of overtime, but yeah, not any hazardous pay, not any bonuses, not any incentives to be able to sit there and put their self on the line like that.
Full calls so far, Mike. You getting any calls? I'm not getting any. I know my phone working. Let's see, did I miss anything?
I haven't received any phone calls. I'm thinking this is one of those topics that nobody really want to comment on, Daryl. That's what I'm thinking.
Here you go, call. Here you go, call. Here you go, call. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening, everybody.
What's going on?
How you doing? All right. So y'all really think the issue that people don't want to work?
Hold on 1 second. Let me merge this other caller in right quick.
I said that's one of the reasons. I didn't say it was all of the reasons.
I think it's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons. You got 2 callers on there with you, Mike. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, man.
Well, I'll say this. To say the word employment is much different than to deal with employment. A lot of these places, I mean, you don't really know how people might be filling out applications because they don't meet certain criteria that the employer wants. Now we turned it down. You know what I'm saying? So the issue is with what type of benefits are these employers willing to offer the employees instead of just working paycheck to paycheck? I think I was talking about $15, $16 an hour, but what are the benefits of having that job? Will you still have to push through jobs?
But I think that's a very good question. The thing is, though, prior to the pandemic, a lot of those people were actually working those jobs for way less. They were working those jobs for half of what they're trying to pay. So, as far as benefits go, I do think that they should offer benefits, and if I'm not mistaken, I think most for some sort of benefits now. The problem is, how much do you have to pay for those benefits? How much coming out of that check for those benefits? So you decide to take those benefits.
Okay. Well, I think the problem is that we're never paying people a benefit. And when people seen they was getting more from the government than they was working 40 hours a week or better, 2 or 3 jobs, okay, that was a sign that, okay, we need to raise the minimum wage. We need to create benefits and health insurance for people, not just want them to come to working or get a job. There's more to a job than just going to it and doing it. You got to be able to prosper from that job.
I agree with you.
Exactly. I think that's why I put in the comments, like, okay, before the pandemic, yeah, people were. I have to always remember that a pandemic is not usual, and it's usually roughly what it's been to be every 100 years or so, or at least in every 50. So when people realize, talking about a whole other ballgame of socialism, communism, that the government is taking care of people. But my thing about it is, there are governments that are successful that have taken care of their people. Why not take care of your people when you take care of people in other countries that you run, and then you see people in this mindset as far as the African American community. Our people have struggled for, as a whole or as a majority, to get good jobs anyway. That's why you get the ghetto. That's why you get the pockets. That's why you have people trying to get fast money. So now these people see that we have a government who has shown that they can help people. Then why not help people? Why keep telling these people, oh, you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and you got to get a hard, you got to work. I do believe in that. You do have to do that. Nothing here is free. But at the same time, some of these benefits that the government they're doing is because we're doing the pandemic and people needed their houses, they needed their homes, they need to feed their children. And this is temporary. So what people, Americans are seeing is that, well, okay, if the government can do this temporarily for like almost a year, why can't these million and billion dollar corporations do it instead of letting these CEOs, CFOs, and other places like people like that go to space instead of paying these people? And to be honest, some of the ones going to space, they're doing good, but like that one that's trying to go there was over Amazon. Amazon's up there trying to form a union, but you got other people too afraid not to go to work at all. So people do want to work. But when if people didn't want to work, and they were trying to form their union up there at Amazon, most of those people would have went with the union. Hell, they would have just took the days off just to go protest, or just to go and meet and try to figure out how they can get a union so that they can get opportunity to have more resources and benefits. You give me $15 an hour, but then you increase my medical insurance by 50% or 100%. I'm right back making $7 an hour.
And it takes all your money, you're not bringing home anything.
Right, and then I see like, okay, the government could do it, and the government is not in business. I don't care if Democratic or Republican. Yeah, we most likely would get it under a Democratic president or Congress, but he had to fight for it. Or you get it under a Republican president who's doing it for selfish reasons. When he did do it. So, but the thing about it is that the government can do it. I'm not so quick to call my people or any people lazy or so I know that there's some people that just don't want to work. That's going to always be the case. But the common sense about it is the government can do this, then why can't these big corporations that's been around for all these 50, 60, some of them 100 years pay these people better? Why did the discussion? That's why he did it. Because when he did talk about trying to increase the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage, everybody booked. Everybody who would have to pay or whatever. And some people didn't even have to pay. Some people just like seeing ranks. They want to see people at the bottom, people in the middle, and those at the top. Some of the people here wouldn't even affect the ones who are most critical of it. Don't want to increase the minimum wage. Won't even affect them. Because they want to see there has to be a lower class, middle class, upper class. And right now we don't even hardly have a middle class. It's lower class and it's upper class. People can act like they're upper class if they want to, but if you're not wealthy, you're not part of that upper class when it comes to finances.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So my thing is, if the government can do it temporarily, why can't these big corporations do it? And plus, the government allowed them money to go towards increasing their wages. And you give me. I mean, they're saying they got these, like Papa Do's, for example, the restaurant up there in Birmingham, closed on Mondays and Tuesdays now. Part had like maybe 5 or 6 hours on Wednesday. Okay, there are other places saying they can't open their lobbies, they can't do this, and they can't do that. But when the government allows you some of that money to bring some of your employees back, What did you do with it? Because y'all still driving around buying, they're the ones buying the brand new Lincolns and Mercedes and Cadillacs and the M-Class and all this kind of stuff. But they don't want to pay people, average working people, but they tell them to pull themselves up out of bootstraps. How? Daycare went up. When people started getting their little money, what happened? Groceries went up. And this was temporary money. You can't find chicken wings. How you can find the breast, the thigh, and and all this, the leg part, you can't find the wings. What chickens, can't find chicken wings. Chicken wings was something the average family would buy. So, it's just stuff can't be found all of a sudden.
But that man will help them to be able to actually live, not just survive, but okay, you got money, you can see your way through. You wasn't struggling.
Well, right, nobody's trying to be rich. I mean, everybody wants to be rich, but these people, the hard working class people, wanted to be able to survive comfortably.
Yep, be calm. That's it. But you mentioned something about Governor Ivy earlier. But I'll say this, she made the statement about having common sense. I think as a governor of Alabama, she should have common sense and raise the minimum wage in Alabama. Wow.
She didn't even have common sense to expand Medicaid. She didn't even have common sense to expand Medicaid. But in these red core states, and they don't care because they're the ones running the states. We're paying them for their stuff. They get insurance, they get this and that and the other. And some of them, the representatives or something, after so long that they get out of office, I think they may not qualify for the insurance again. So, of course, they're going to keep running and running and running, however long until they can.
I mean, they're actually, a lot of times after they get out of office, they're what you call grandfather in. They still get those same checks even when they get off.
But then some of them don't. That's what I read. That's what I read an author not too long ago. Some of them are grandfathered in. If they don't get, once they're out for so long, I forgot which particular member of Congress it is or what name, because there was a man down there trying to sue about it, trying to get his. I forgot which one it is, but they got it for so many years and it stopped.
Yeah.
So, she talking about common sense and about your own health. Well, does she not see what people are saying? They're not wearing masks. Some people don't even believe in coronavirus. They still got ha-ha emojis when they're talking about, Dr. Cram said, I showed that article today. There were 23 people in Alabama. Now there's 27 people that they know of with the Delta variant. You in the stores, you see some people who having some common sense, but common sense not common to everybody. Some people don't have naturally born God-given sense. They act like they don't.
Right. Like I said today, I was out and about today, and when I got out our vehicle, my wife got out our vehicle with our mask on, we were in the minority.
They're looking at you like they want to say something to you. I wish they would. Some of these people are literally, you telling us not to impinge on your rights, that you don't have to wear a mask, but then you looking at people like they dirty or something because they have a mask on.
Yeah, they should be.
Some of them literally, because they fighting on airplanes and all kinds of stuff. You get on the airplane, I'm not trying to sit by you. You don't want to have a mask on. So, lifting those mandates, stuff like this, when it was a national pandemic, I think it still should be across the board. If they want to get on there, kick them off. They on there fighting and stuff because they don't want to have masks on. You're impinging on my rights. So some of them look at you in Walmart like they want to say something to you because you have a mask on.
Yeah, you sure right.
And I'm like, you don't pay my bills when you start housing me, you raise me up. But they really, I'm looking at you and I'm giving you that same look back, like, why don't you? Why don't you have one? Because everybody knows that there's a variant. Everybody's saying that the numbers are increasing. They're saying like in Mississippi, those kids are in ICU.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And you can control your area as far as like maybe city to city, something like that. Like when the city numbers go down. But my thing about that, okay, well, some cities are okay, but eventually when people start traveling, holidays run around again, that's when you'll have an issue. Yeah. And see, Alabama is not a place where people really travel, like that, so like it's a hard summer vacation. But they go out to these other places. They're not wearing masks and they're coming back home. So it's like the people are saying, it takes time. Right? Some of these doctors won't be surprised if there's an uptick.
And majority of them traveling have not got not one shot.
No.
They're traveling to other places.
Yeah, and Alabama and Mississippi flipped this week. Alabama worse than Mississippi as far as vaccination rate.
Jesus. But we talked about that on Tuesday pertaining to like why the vaccination rate is so low. And you just sent in something saying that was it DCH that's going to get ready to stop?
DCH after tomorrow. After tomorrow, you won't be able to make another an appointment because 3 weeks from tomorrow is August 6th. I think it's August 6th. And that would be when they go back. If you go in, I guess tomorrow, you wait 3 weeks. So the August 6th will be that week for your second vaccination. After then, because of the decline in demand for the vaccine, they won't be offering it again.
But do you think that stores like Walgreens and Sam's and Walmart?
I think what they want is maybe people to be able to get it from their doctor's offices more readily. And I don't know if that's happening or not. I don't know how many people truly get it from their doctor's office. But the hope is, nationally, the hope is that when people start to not offer it, that they can get it from their doctor's office like they would do a flu shot. Because DCH, I put that today that after tomorrow, those who get vaccinated will be able to come back on August 6th to get their second vaccination.
But let me
after then, they're not going to offer it because there's going to decline. So that goes back to, well, they're not going to have those nurses out there standing around paying them, especially traveling nurses, $45, $50 an hour, and nobody's coming to take the shots.
Well, let me ask you this. Is there a shortage at the hospital also, isn't it? For its help?
That's always shortage. DCH, I don't even think they're using, I don't know, but because I heard some of my friends say that they're either not using the traveling nurses anymore or I guess cut back on them. Well, they were using traveling nurses because they couldn't get local nurses.
Because the DCH has a problem with not paying their employees in the first place. So that was one of the big things. A lot of people wind up
Birmingham,
I'm talking
traveling.
Atlanta. Yeah, the DCH, they give the nurses a little bit more, the doctors a little bit more, but like everybody else that's in the hospital, they kind of neglect. They actually offer a signing bonus to people that work in the nutrition services to come and work. And people still don't want to go over there because, if I'm not mistaken, I still think they're only paying.
Believe me, the doctors and the nurses, believe me, the doctors and the nurses are having an issue with their pay as well. I think with us is that we're more educated, a lot of times more experienced, and I'm not knocking people who aren't educated because everybody's not allowed to afford another degree or the opportunity to get educated. But if I went and I pay all that and I'm still paying for my education, I expect to be paid commendably over somebody else. So they're not just having problems with like cleaning up the kitchen and stuff like that, because those people should be well compensated as well because of what they're exposed to. But they're having problems like retaining. That's why they were having that issue with that with trying to get their doctors, the chemical or whatever. They was having an issue with them because I guess DCH is trying to find a way to pay doctors less.
Hey, Malone, do they have a database of the people in, like say in Alabama that have been vaccinated, that they know when it comes to that particular house, who's vaccinated in it and who's not? Do they keep up with that type of data?
I mean, but yeah, I think they have to because for them, in order for them to know that we're at the bottom, which states we're where. I think they have it, but I don't think that they have like a database that's like accessible to the public, which are HIPAA. But they do have a way of keeping up with it because that's related to determining what area of the country is to be vaccinated and how much.
I asked that question to ask this question. You remember when people come across lines in there, they were trying to go with you, but say they went to Georgia to get it, but some people still have that type of information.
I think you breaking up a little bit. Can y'all hear what Danny said?
I couldn't make out some of it myself.
Well, you guys are breaking up a little bit, Danny. Say that one more time.
Okay. I was asking that question because I was wondering if people travel out of state to get their vaccination that lived in Tuscaloosa would have that type of information that they've been vaccinated since they travel across state lines or county lines to get that vaccination.
Well, I don't know. You know, sometimes there's always a room for discrepancy. So I don't know because I did see what they were talking about there, where people had maybe gotten their vaccination in Georgia and maybe came over here and they had their card to show when they received the vaccination. So maybe they still can keep up with it that way because if you've told them you've had a vaccination, I would think you would have to give proof before they give you one if they're saying this is my second one. Like if you came over and you told the people over at DCH at the vaccination area that you've had one already, I think you would have to show proof because their thing is to give you an appointment to come back for your second one. So if you're telling them that you've already had one and you just traveled over here and you would like to get it here, I would think that you would have to show proof. If you're doing that, then there's still a way to keep up with it. I feel like the people that vaccination card. I would feel like the people that
Somebody's breaking up real bad.
You mean can the people who administer the vaccine, you mean as far as the people giving it, can they tell if they've been vaccinated? Hello?
Hey, did we lose you, thing?
Hello?
I think we probably lost.
If he asked if there any way to tell if they're administering the vaccine?
I'm not exactly sure because he was breaking up pretty bad toward the end there, but
Well, like, when he got off, okay, was he asking was there any way to tell if the people who were administering the vaccine had been vaccinated?
I don't know. Like I said, I think that he was breaking up pretty bad, so I can understand. But that's a good question. Because I know that there are healthcare people that decided not to take the vaccine. So, and I guess the best way that they know they're not infected is by checking their temperature every day when they come to work, right?
Not even by taking the temperature, because the temperature can be up, can be normal. Or the temperature could be up and it could be related to something else. It could be a simple cold. So, I mean, they can check their temperature protocol, you know, as far as who's coming to work and require that they wear a mask. Just like when you don't receive the flu vaccination, most medical facilities tell you that you have to wear a mask to work. They weren't checking temps, but they were telling you that you have to wear a mask. So for those healthcare professionals who don't want to, I guess, take the vaccine, I'm sure they probably depends on the facility. It's kind of, I guess, a facility by facility basis. But I mean, that would be good procedure would be that if they're not going to take the vaccine, that they should be wearing masks. Especially my concern is that most people are acting like they're not hearing about the Delta variant. They're acting like there's no, you know, there are about 4 or 5 other strands. And I guess to them, it's like, well, if the vaccine works with the other strands, so it's like they're not listening to the fact that it's supposed to be easier to transmit. And that it's on the rise in Europe. And so they're saying pretty much anything that's on the rise in Europe going to be
it's heading this way.
Mm-hmm.
It's heading this way.
And like I said, Dr. Collier said that there was another variant even after the Delta variant, the Lambda or the L variant, that's even worse than and it originated in Peru. Just a whole lot different than, a whole lot more contagious than the Delta variant.
You know, it makes me think, you know, all this stuff here is coming from this Afghanistan and Iran war. I mean, that's just me. I mean, they probably had different stuff that they was trying to eliminate people with, and I think it escaped where it was supposed to be going. And now it's
so you're saying, like, as far as people trying to relate it all starting in China, it may just be from some of these wars, kind of like back when wars from years and years ago, this and that later, like, I guess 20, 30 years later, they would determine that it was from that past previous war.
That's just me.
Well, I actually think that it was a strain of something that was a prehistoric strain, and it was trapped there in some ice somewhere, and because of global warming and the melting of the polar ice cap, it statistician?
You never know. I mean, you don't have to be a scientist. Like I said, we people in medical profession and other professions we want to get paid for the money, but sometimes, I mean, Kanye didn't need a degree to become you know what I'm saying? Like Bill Gates didn't need to become the computer genius, the tech genius that he is. So you never know. Sometimes the answers to some questions don't lie amongst the scientists. Sometimes, because they overanalyze, and I won't say overanalyzing, but they're usually analyzing everything with a fine-tooth comb, and sometimes that's when you miss over something that's right there. So at this point, any explanation, or I'll say many explanations, could be the reasons why.
Well,
but I'm just looking at these people, our people. Like that one somebody said Tuesday, they were saying that they couldn't do anything in the African American community. Well, that wasn't true. And you got these different variants, and a lot of people don't like to go and get checkups. And like I said, the Delta variant is it's not like the typical COVID-19 that when it was hitting and people were talking about the symptoms that they were having with it, that it's more like the cold symptoms. So a lot of people think that they have a cold, and just like the other one, they probably get over it. But how many people have they encountered? It seems like they're saying that maybe one reason maybe that the younger people are contracting it is because a lot of them didn't get vaccinated or haven't gotten vaccinated.
And that's why they say the CDC is recommending, actually pleading, that a lot of the youth get vaccinated before the school season starts, because they're going to really and truly be around each other a whole lot. And this is high school, well, this is all school, really. When they go into school, they're going to be around each other. There's so many common areas that they're going to be in. The halls are going to come back. We saw this last year when school was in, when kids went back to schools, how the hallways were, and we got youth right now that do not wear masks. Like, they don't go outside, they don't think about wearing a mask at all, period. So you know that they're gonna spread that throughout each other. They're gonna bring it home to their parents and grandparents, and we're gonna have to be in the midst of another pandemic. The question is whether or not we're gonna have wherewithal to do the things needed to shut it down again. On a federal level, on a state level, on a city level. As it stands right now, we don't. I know on a state level, Governor Kay Ivey said that she's not gonna be the one to tell anybody anything about their health. They got common sense. They ought to use it. That's almost verbatim what she said.
Well, my thing with Governor Ivey, like right now, I'm so just.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah.
Hold on a second, Mike. I just Okay. My thing with Governor Ivey is she keeps talking about people using common sense. If people use their common sense, they wouldn't have went up there doing what they did January 6th. It's a lot of things that show us people won't use their common sense. I want to say they don't have it, they won't use it. So, and we're talking about the employment and people coming back to work, the government, everybody, the biggest welfare recipients are these rich people. And everybody always want to put down people who don't have and say that they're lazy. There's somebody in every category. Like I said, I won't say that that's not true. But some of these companies that did receive funds from the federal government in order to help with their employment recruitment or employment retention, They didn't. All of them. It's just like people with these PPP loans. Just like they weren't entitled to them, some of them are getting caught with it. Some of these jobs, just like look, an NBA team had to give back so much money the first time when Trump authorized the COVID benefits. So some of these people aren't doing what they're supposed to do. Or like you said, they are hiring people, giving them 20 hours. Remember when Papa John did that? When he was against Obamacare. This man is a multi-billion-dollar industry. He was so against Obamacare so that he wouldn't have to offer benefits. He dropped those people's hours down to below 20 per week. So we have to kind of, you can talk to some of these people that are running places and they'll say, oh, we just can't hire anybody, we just don't hire anybody. But what are they doing behind the scenes? And then are they saying, well, since we got it and give them a little bit more money, the insurance has to go up. Well, the insurance is going up.
I really do see that happening.
Yeah, they make any reason for the insurance to go up. When they offered Obamacare, the affordable health care, they offered that. Well, now my wife's insurance is going up, my husband's insurance is up. Maybe, but think about it. Back when FDR, when they did Social Security, I'm sure things went up. But are they going up enough for y'all to be breaking people's bank? People who already don't make bank. There's some of them are like these people getting involved with these PPP loans. A lot of these people, come on, y'all, think about $20,000. If you got $20,000 today, and the way some people like to flash and live off their money, how long is that going to last? You paying your monthly bills, you paying your lifestyle the way you like to live. Somebody going to probably take $5,000, $10,000 out of it and go get a car. So that's $10,000. And if they don't go get a car, they're going to splash and parade or they're going to do other things. Some people will legitimately do what they're supposed to do. But some of them, we don't know if they're getting in debt because they're saying people are getting these loans that shouldn't have them. But what I do know is that if it's supposed to be like to maintain your business, or everybody didn't have a business. You can lie and say you have a business, but they're going to find out if you legitimately have a business. But even if you got the money, yeah, and even if you got the money, and if there is a way to forgive it, most people won't be able to do the things that they have to do to forgive it. So then they're going to be exposed that way. So I just don't think, there's going to always be that group of people that don't want to work, they're shady, they're sleepless, trying to get something for nothing, always. But when we look at people in general, we need to look at the way the United States treat their people. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. If you don't want to work for pennies, then you're lazy. So you have mothers and fathers, whether it's a single-parent home sometimes or two-parent home, some of them working 2 jobs. And then you increase your benefits, or you drop some of them, drop benefits, and some people looking like, okay, they dropped the benefits, they gave me $15 an hour, but I got to go out here and find insurance. They may be able to afford to qualify for ACA, but for those who fall just beneath the level to meet ACA, guess what? That would mean if Ivy had accepted it, they could do the Medicaid extension for those people. She would not expand, she didn't do Medicaid extension. So usually when you apply for the Affordable Care Act, they will say your income is just below whatever the amount is that qualifies. Therefore, you'll have to apply for Medicaid in your state. Well, Alabama being one of those states that have been extended or expanded for that, is still only providing Medicaid to those people who are of age and for kids who are under a certain age, not for average working people. So she's rejecting so much stuff, and then they're wondering why some people, I ain't gonna lie, so I gotta have damn complaints and sit here getting this from the government, because it's also showing them that these businesses can do, if the government can do it for almost a year, starting with their first distribution of money. If they can do it, or hit every now and then, or just when Biden got in, just making a law, extended it, that unemployment, that money wasn't supposed to stop until September 30th. She's so low down, she stopped June 30th. So for money she should be accepting to help people as related to the pandemic, she didn't. But the money that the state received, instead of helping her people that way, she wants to be in business with. And they need to raise sand about it, because they raised sand when Trump gave their first pandemic relief. She wanted to do, want to make, improvements to the Capitol bill. So Republicans and Democrats stepped up and said, oh no, that's not going to work. It's not fair that. But will they both step up I'm sure the Democrats probably will, or most of them, but will they step up now that she wants to use COVID-19 relief money that they're giving to the state of Alabama to build these prisons? What did they have to do? Alabama, she was in that prison situation before the pandemic struck. And even if she wasn't, what does that have to do? Unless she was going to improve the situation for prisoners, the overcrowding. But no, she was thinking about building these prisons has been on their agenda forever.
But the question about that is, and Daryl pointed out earlier, who's going to get to work? Who's going to get to work in them?
Exactly. Who's going to work them? They're already short as I don't know what. And nobody, to be honest, who wants to even go into that environment? Who are they going to get to go into?
Because I think and Daniel was one of the he was a corrections officer, and he could have told us the numbers again, but it was something like 1 guard to every 50 or 60 inmates.
It's awful.
So where's the incentive there? Like that's my thing. Like when those businesses all these businesses got some sort of money to help keep employees, and they didn't. Some of these employees were supposed to be getting hazardous pay, and they never got hazardous pay. And I think that soured them on some of these jobs. Now, and you can tell me, Veronica, if you agree with me or not on that, but I just think that you start looking at this, the fact that, hey, you don't care nothing for me, you just want me to come in and make you a dollar. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Yeah. A lot of people got out of the medical profession because it was something nobody had ever seen before. And then they didn't even want to do an incentive pay some places. Mm-hmm. Even after, like I said, they were given or awarded the money by the government. They didn't want to do incentive pay. And as we know, anytime large corporations get a large amount of money from the government, they don't do all the way right. But they expect people to do all the way right.
Some of the companies that did give some sort of incentive to come to work, I just don't think like I know that Target and Walmart possibly save out $100 here or $100 there, but in the grand scheme of things, how much of that money do you think that was actually given to them by the government was used on them incentives? Like, would you say that was more like a 10% type thing, or
I don't even know. I don't know what it is, but when you think about it, any company, any of those large companies like that, they should have reserve anyway to be able to give their employees incentives. So I would think that money from the government would be money that just means they don't touch their reserve. They just help them out. And so I really don't know what percentage of it that they use for it, but I don't see $100 being an incentive. Like when people say to get the vaccine, we'll pay you, we'll give you the day off, and we'll pay you for that. I mean, people are thinking about a vaccine and their health. People are afraid of vaccines. We know the history of vaccines. Mm-hmm. So who wants to go get a vaccine that they're really still in their mind afraid of for $100? I can go down to the green track and maybe hit $100. So it's, some of what they gave, any extra money is a blessing. But a lot of times the money is truly due. Because when the government gave it to them, that was to help the companies stay afloat as well. They didn't have to use their money, which they probably could have afforded to do anyway.
I think what I'm getting at is that they feel like they just throw a couple of dollars at anybody or people that work in these search industries, that's going to be enough to make them do whatever they want them to do. So $100, $100. I'm not going to sneeze at $100. $100 is $100. But it was in the grand scheme of things, they only use 20% of what they were given by the government. Plus, they have their own incentive, like you just said, which means that they quite possibly could have gave everybody $1,000 to
Exactly. Exactly. But they probably put the rest of that money in their reserve as well. Yeah. And they probably holding on to it. And like I was saying earlier, some people, yeah, they're saying they need these people to work, but when you hire them, are you telling them that they'll be able to work 40 hours and be eligible for insurance after 1 to 3 months? Or eligible for insurance instantly? Are you telling them that, okay, we can hire you, but it's only 20 hours a week? And so they still have to pay, usually when you part-time, sometimes they'll still qualify you for insurance, but a lot of times part-time people have to pay a little bit more.
Yeah,
or they're not offered as much.
Some of the people that I have talked to, and they were the ones that actually told me that, yeah, man, they hire you for that much, man, but they ain't gonna give you no hours behind it. But like one guy, he said he worked for a restaurant. I'm not gonna say the name of the restaurant, but he worked for a restaurant. They hired him on paying him $15 an hour. He's supposed to be full-time, but he never got 40 hours a week. And he started off around about 30, and it started dwindling down from there. And it got to the point where it cost him more money to go to work than it was to work. And he was making it work. So he wound up quitting. So, if you're going to do that, like it makes no sense to put the placards in the window saying,
right, you have everybody around town and everybody in the community thinking, oh, they're offering the jobs, people just won't take it. That's true to a degree, but talk to the people who have taken them since all this started, and since things are starting trying to get better. Talk to the people who have taken them within the past 2 to 3 months and see that their hours started 35 to 40 and then they dwindle down.
Well, they said they working.
See what insurance package was offered with, or if insurance was offered with.
They said they working them to death. They said they had to close down to stop them working them to death.
Because those were the ones who couldn't get enough employees.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot of them had to close down because they can't get enough. So the ones that they have, they may be getting. It depends. I guess it depends on which company, which restaurant. You may have some may be really trying to do the right thing, but people have gotten it in their minds now that they're not going to. So some people may not be hitting those correct restaurants, but hitting those right places. So the people that they have, they can't overwork them. So they're shutting down hours. Like I was saying earlier, Papa Do's closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Sometimes I never known for them to be closed one day a week, let alone two.
That's the one in Birmingham?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Birmingham a lot. And I've never known for them to be closed one day a week, let alone 2 days a week. And I think on Wednesdays it's 3 to 8 or something like that, and Thursday, maybe Friday and Saturday to 9, something like that.
Yeah, that's because it
can't. I got the email because most of my family's in Birmingham, and I be working up there, so I go there a lot. I'm like, Papa Do's? And that was a recent email. I got that starting. I think it said starting on July 16th. They will be closed Mondays and Tuesdays. Closed.
There's a big impact on the hospitality workforce that's gonna affect a lot of people. Even down in Orange Beach during the holidays, they were saying, wasn't enough staff, and I think somebody's trying to come up with some kind of pool, employee pool that if you ain't working at this hotel, if you want to come on and work at mine on your off day, they trying to share employees. But hey.
And I'm like, but
they said that was people were the day of or the week of their reservations got canceled just because they didn't have the staff. So they was like, we're going to cancel your reservation like the week. Mm-hmm. So that did something to a lot of people who were trying to go down to Dolphin Island, Orange Beach, all those places down there. in that area. So you truthfully can see it like it seems like Veronica was saying. I think that they need to offer some sort of incentive. They need some of these insurance companies need to get together with these employers and come up with some sort of package so that you don't pay me $15 an hour, but I don't have to pay you back $7 of my $15. So that it actually looked like I made some money. It's the one thing to get a raise, but then as soon as I get my raise, my insurance goes up, so it don't look like my check didn't ever change. And that's how it usually goes in most of these places. When they call themselves giving you a raise, your insurance goes up.
Mm-hmm. And then, guys, a lot of stuff went up in general. When they started giving the pandemic relief, daycare went up. So a lot of people was like, well, let me, they didn't have, let me stay at home. I can't afford to pay for my kids. We already in a pandemic, and then daycare just went up just because we got stimulus check. One check. And I know we ended up with 3 overall, but each of those 3, they were just like weekly or bi-weekly payroll checks. And then for those people who they're receiving benefits now, what is it, the unemployment benefits? That's going to run out. Time will tell, because that'll run out September 30th. So if people are just avoiding work because of that, then more of them will pick back up towards the end of the year. Holiday season coming around, more of them will pick back up. Now the ones who are getting the extra, EBT and stuff like that for the kids, I don't think that's going to keep them from going to work, because I think that's just it. I mean, I don't think they can take that. If you qualify for that, you got that. If they're really saying that the people who are unemployed or not working because they're getting the unemployment, but when the unemployment benefits run out, then time will tell, because, like I said, I didn't accept it after June 30th. So if people did save a little bit of money around September, October, they'll be back at work.
That's the thing I'm wondering if that's actually going to happen. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. That it's going to be everybody's going to go out looking for jobs in that particular moment in time. It's going to be in the heart of football season, and these people they're going to really throw some money. Actually, they're going to start throwing money, I think, in September at people to come work, especially during football season here in the state of Alabama, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, because they got to have those people be here for these Alabama home games. They lost too much money last year because Alabama, Alabama couldn't, they had the home games, but hey, could nobody come to them. Well, they trying to pack out Brian Denny every single home game this year, and when that happens, they want the quad to be full. They want Alabama Stadium. They want Brian Denny Stadium to be full. All the restaurant shops and everything here in town are going to need people to work. So
yeah, they want to be full. That's why they got Nick Saban on there telling them to get their vaccine, because they want to pack the stadium out. They made a commercial for that. Get the vaccine if you want to see a return.
Because they still talking about using common sense, and we're gonna go on the honor system. This is my problem. It'll be something else that they say, well, if you come to Brian Denny Stadium with your vaccination card. But because the legislation here in Alabama says you can't ask for that, how many folks gonna actually be able to Brian Denny Stadium that ain't been vaccinated? But they're not gonna
Right. If the government, if they pass legislation saying that you can't, it's against the law to ask for it, then they're not going to be able to tell. I do know that, I don't know though, but since it's Delta variant, the military, I shared an article on my page, I can't exactly specifically remember the title of it, but they are requiring, I want to say I don't know, it's some military place. I'm trying to look, I don't want to make it cost off the phone, but they're requiring, due to this new Delta variant, they're requiring them to get the vaccination. Trying to look and see. I shared it because it was interesting. I wanted to see, and I'm like, if this is a division or some part of the military that's requiring, they just because think you got to have military that's able to do the things that the country needs the military to do.
That's absolutely true, and I think it's a slippery slope to try to mandatory everybody in the country to get a vaccine, but it's almost like is that something that was something that need to be looked into because of the fact that we had so many people, and once again, it's a lot of the southern states that choose not to go and get themselves vaccinated. Um, we talked about it Tuesday. It makes absolutely no sense that anytime there's something bad, Mississippi and Alabama, Mississippi are amongst the top. They're amongst the top of everything bad, amongst the bottom of everything good. Education, amongst the bottom. Poverty, amongst the top. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand. I don't understand why our people here in the state of Mississippi and Alabama are content with being in that category.
Well, from what I'm saying now, they're saying that it could require all soldiers to be vaccinated. I guess unless, as with other vaccines, maybe religious reasons or a medical reason would eliminate that requirement. But they're strongly looking at it again as of this month. They've been looking at it anyway, but they're revisiting it again.
And that I think will raise a possibility of a lot of people getting out of the military. Because I go back to all those nurses in Texas, all those doctors and nurses in Texas that quit their job, they quit their job because they refused to get vaccinated.
I think it will, but as far as the military goes, I don't know because there are so many benefits with the military. I mean, not just for a soldier, but his family. Mm-hmm. There's so many, and then there's 17 required vaccines for the military anyway. So the argument going towards those soldiers will be, well, you take these 17, and I know that their argument is going to be, well, this is a new vaccine, and everybody's afraid of it because it's new. Well, so they're just going to go along with the research now. From when do we start getting these vaccines? They're going to the numbers did drop. The numbers didn't just drop because it's, because of course, the numbers will drop just like with those other, pandemics that we had. The numbers do eventually drop because they're trying to do herd immunity, or it may be due to herd immunity. But if COVID was so bad that nobody wants it to get that bad again. So you may have so many people in the military that may go as far as getting out. You may have some that will take the religious way out and say, I'm not saying the way out is they're not telling the truth, but so they may take the opportunity to use their religious beliefs and not get it. Because I'm gonna tell you, it is a slippery slope. You're trying to make people take a vaccine, but when you're in the military and you got that set, steady income, free education for all your kids, you can have one and you can have 10 free college degrees if they want it, free for you and your spouse. There's a lot more to take in to think about taking the vaccine again as opposed to not. Like we were saying, incentives. Mm-hmm. So you're throwing an incentive out there to average regular people of $100. Well, the military won't even look at the incentives because they're going to look at the things they get already. Most people in the military, they're going to look at. I mean, honestly, I wasn't for the military when I was young, but when my kids got free educations, I'm gonna look at things a little bit more closely and a little bit more differently.
Sounds good. Once again, we completed the show. Hopefully, the workforce will get back to working. And I seen some comments earlier. Some people say, "Hey, other people found other ways of not being enslaved, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Some people find their niche. Some people find things that they were good at that they didn't know. Some people, realized they had talents that they didn't know or they knew, and they became independent. They became their own boss.
Well, we're gonna end the night. It's the Bucks and the Suns tied at 2-2. Got a game tomorrow, and one Sunday. Probably be wrapped up. I think it's gonna be wrapped up one way or another by Sunday. I don't know if it's gonna be the Suns or the Bucks, but it's gonna be wrapped up by Sunday. And we'll be back on our normal. No, man. No.
They're going back to Phoenix, man.
I know. Like I said, either Phoenix gonna wrap it up or the Bucks gonna wrap it up by Sunday.
But I think they're going to Phoenix, then Milwaukee, then back to Phoenix. So
it's over with by Sunday. Sunday is over with.
Hey, yeah, look, I wish Jesse was on because I had something for him. I knew he would have sent him through the roof. We were talking about Shakar and the marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did y'all hear about the weightlifter from New Zealand, male transgender weightlifter?
Mm-mm.
That he transitioned from male to female, so that requires taking drugs, estrogen of some type of form. Mm-hmm. Being allowed to participate in the Olympics in the women's competition.
And I think that's wrong.
Now that's not doping, but I mean, come on now, sometimes you can mix apples and oranges. That's not doping, but he hasn't. I don't care what they say, and I'm not saying anything negative towards the transgender community, but if he has to take estrogen in order to be more like a woman, that means he has a physical advantage, and people are saying that that's not true. How is it not true that a man, I can't come over there and lift with you and Darryl lift. I can't come over there and lift with you, do what Mike did. I can't go out there and you know what I'm saying? So if he's taking estrogen to be more feminine-like, but I'm like, so I didn't see anything from the anti-doping on it. But they, like we were saying, they got all these organizations that are involved with it. So how is that allowed? It's just like when they're talking about now, some of these states talking about transgender competing with girls. So my thing is, so when, how you going to close the door on one thing and not the other? For all the reasons we said that the marijuana maybe didn't give her an advantage. So this was a man.
Yeah. That all in itself right there is a man competing. Well, let me stop saying it like that. A former man competing with women. And because his genetic makeup is her genetic makeup is that he used to be a man, saying that he naturally more physically stronger.
And to me, if you look at him, he looks like a man still.
Well, I mean that.
And I know they want you to be politically correct and not say things, and sometimes facts are facts.
Sounds like one. Hey, we're gonna take up that conversation.
I was waiting to tell Jesse that.
We're gonna take up that conversation on Tuesday. I guess we can talk about that because that's another segment of the Shakar Richardson situation. So you're right. We'll take up and see how he feel on that. But we'll talk on Tuesday. Looking forward to seeing you all on the program, and we're gonna end it. Mello, are you ready? See, we can't.
Veronica, thank you very much for tuning in. We really appreciate you calling up here.
Oh, I call. I listen at work.
Oh, okay.
Or I'm trying to listen to somebody else sometimes.
Well, thanks, y'all. We appreciate it. We're gonna let Mello close it on out, and we'll talk to y'all on Tuesday.
Okay, all right, good night.
All right, have a good night.
All right.
Okay, easy.
District 7 has now come to a crossroad. We have to have a leader that we can trust. My work isn't done.
Sonia has proven herself. Everything I've asked her to do within the last 8 years, she's done. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. That's why I'm supporting her.
We need someone who can continue helping the city of Tuscaloosa and this district to grow. Sonia is the person to do that for us. She is professional, she holds people accountable, and she is trustworthy.
I am for Sonia. I know the direction we're going. I know the funding opportunities that are there. We need to have continued leadership that knows where they're going, and I can take you in the right direction. To start over with inexperienced leadership pushes our district back. We don't deserve that. We have sidewalk projects, we have LED lighting upgrades, we have drainage projects that are out there waiting to be funded. This is not a game. I need to get back to work. So on July 27th, I have a plan, and there are things on the table that are there waiting for me to continue to advocate for you.